Okay, so what needs to be talked more about is love. I think, for the most part, as a general society, um, when it comes to any form of relationship, whether that's friendship, partnership, marriage, um, parenting, whatever relationships we find ourselves in, we don't necessarily know what love is. I have asked many people their take on love, asked many people, do they believe love hurts? And do you know what the general consensus is? That yes, love hurts. And I'm like, what? If it's hurting, then it ain't love. Like, love is not about disciplining someone else, it's not about an authoritative or dictatorship. It is love, it should be always, let me see. I know what I want to say, but getting it out. Love you should lead with love, and there's a golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's the essence, that's the epitome of love, is that when you want someone to forgive you, you have to forgive others as well as forgive yourself. When you want someone to be kind to you, you have to be kind to others as well as to yourself. When you want compassion, compassionate to others as well as to you. See, you always reflect back to you that which you are. And if you're not experiencing love in a gentle, kind, nurturing, harmonious, joyful, loving way. I know I'm defining the word with the word. It's never a good thing. Not never a good thing, but it doesn't really help people understand what a term used when you use the word to define the word. But we know what loving means: to be loving, to be nurturing, to be caring, to be compassionate. Like, if if it does not make you feel good, then it ain't love. I don't know what it is, but love is not what it is. It's not love if it does not feel good, if it does not make you happy, if it does not bring a smile and a joy to your face. You know, I know we have in our society used a certain biblical teachings, but they're really not biblical. They're really religious or church teachings. And it's one particular scripture that we use, and we only not only use it when it comes to children, but we've also used it in our adult life, which is you spare the rod, you spoil the child, as if in order to get someone to behave in a certain way, in a certain manner, you must discipline them physically in order to get the outcome you desire. And I've come to realize that that's not love. I mean, the same mentality we use in disciplining children and saying, I'm doing this because I love you. If we took that same mentality into adulthood and a man did the same thing to his wife or his girlfriend, or vice versa, the woman did it to their spouse or significant other, we would say that's crossing the line. That's going too far. If you love someone, you don't hurt them. You don't hit them. You don't try to force physically force them into doing something you want them to do. Yet we think it's okay to do it to children. I think that's why we have the misconception of what love is. That's why we believe love should hurt, because we in essence hurt our children to get them to do things we think they should do because they're not being respectful or behaving in a manner in which we think they should behave. But we're not allowing them to express who they are, being non-judgmental, uncritical, not condemning, not shame or guilt. When you truly understand what love is and you allow a person to truly feel comfortable in expressing who they are without shame, guilt, or condemnation, or judgment or criticizing them, they are more free to express that, and they will do it, and they won't hurt anyone. But if they're like feel constrained or restricted, that's why a lot of times we as human beings act out of our divine nature, which is love, is because we have been restricted and confined and restrained and being able to express that without someone judging us. And so I do want to also add this little side note is that we are the creators. We created this whole experience of being human. So when I say that someone else is doing something or someone else is, I do understand there is no one else, that we all created this, that this is a co-creation together, and that it's never anyone doing anything to you or against you. It's always happening because of you. And yes, a lot of our experiences came from people giving us certain beliefs, and we agree to accept those beliefs. And those beliefs just don't necessarily serve us anymore. They just don't really bring about the best in us. They really do not display love. So again, love is patient. Patient. Love is kind. It's not easily angered. It's not boastful. It's not proud. Yes, it's confident. It's bold. It is certitude. It is reassuring. It is compassionate. It is giving. It is generous. It is nurturing. It is all those wonderful things. And when you're expressing yourself to another and those things don't naturally come up out of you and you're not naturally thinking in that way, then you know it's not love, because love does not hurt. There is no struggle. There is no force. There is no sacrifice. There is no sacrifice. There is none of that. It's a willingness to give your heart in the ultimate way, and that is freely and without expectation of a certain response, because you're doing it because you want to, because you're doing it out of love. So there is no expectation. You're doing it because you want to, not because of how the other person would respond to you, but purely out of, because it's in your heart to do so. That is your living and expressing from your divine being. So let's reshape, reconsider, reevaluate what we consider to be love. Because love does not operate in fear. Love does not operate in neglect or abandonment. Love does not operate in struggle and force. Love is free. Love is uniting. Love is inclusive. Love is all. Love is everything. Love is who we are. That there is no other, that there is only one, that I am you and you are me. And if I treated you how I wanted to be treated, I wouldn't hit you because I wouldn't want to be hit, right? Like, let's just bring it down to this simple, this is simple, plain and simple. I would not want anyone to beat me and hit me to get me to do something they wanted me to do, no more than I should want to do it to you, because I wouldn't want to receive it. So I do unto you as I want you to do unto me. So I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to criticize you. I'm not going to condemn you. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to try to manipulate you and coerce you and guilt you, shame you. None of that. That's not love. That's not how we operate. This reminds me of another scripture. Be not conformed to this world. That's how the world does everything. That's why we have governments and police and jails and prisons and all of this, and people disciplining people through force and through physical harm. Like, that's the way the world thinks. But it says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. When you renew your mind and you come to realize that everyone is you and you are them and they are you, that there is only one consciousness, individualized, expressing itself in billions of people, billions of expressions, then you'll come to realize that I don't need to do any of that. I don't need to coerce anyone into doing anything. I don't need to manipulate. I don't need to stronghold anyone. I don't need to use force. When you lead with love, which is kindness, patience, enduring all things, believing all things, hoping all things, when you're harmonious and joyful, that's love. You can never go wrong. Lead with love.